Welcome back to the Rugby Social. That's the end of week 2 of the Six Nations. And in this video, I'm going to put together my team of the week. I have to say, I thought it was another great week of the Six Nations, perhaps not quite at those really high levels of the week before. However, there were some really good, old school, hard battles between England and Wales, Scotland and France, and a cakewalk for Ireland, who looked imperious again, even though they only had they rested some of their sort of major stars. So let me run through my team of the week. So let's start with the props and the hookers. So front row, loose head for me has to go to Andrew Porter. I thought he had another great game. Some early challenges with his scrummaging, but then he really got on top of his Italian counterpart and absolutely monstered him for the rest of the game. Was also very good round the park. I have to give a special shout out, though, to Pierre Schumann, who I thought had a really good scrummaging game against France and looked very good. Moving to hooker, then there is no competition for this spot. It has to go to Dan Sheehan, who looks like an absolutely world class, if not the best hooker in the world. Maybe when Malcolm Marx comes back, might have some competition. But right now, for Six Nations, hooker of the week has got to be Dan Sheehan. I thought George Turner had a good game for Scotland as well. Again, scrummaged well, looked a threat around the park, went off with that head injury assessment, came back on and just carried on banging around the pitch and making a real difference. But yeah, Dan Sheehan, class above, 2 tries, absolute quality. And then in terms of tight head, just to make it an all-Irish front row, and this team will probably be fairly dominated by Ireland here, but then Finlay Bealham, thought he had a really good game. His set piece is so solid. He's got lovely soft hands. He gets the number 3 jersey. I think, to be fair, Will Stewart looked like he'd had a better game for England. He looked like he was actually a bit of a threat around the park. And I thought Xander Ferguson had a great game as well. So, followed by the Irish front row, it would have been very close with the Scottish front row. But hey, let me know what you think. Am I getting this right? Am I getting this wrong? Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let's move into the second row. And I thought Joe McCarthy, again, wonderful this week. Not quite at the massively high levels he had against France, but still absolute quality performance all over the park, making great runs, great at the line out. Great at the set piece. And yeah, just very, very good. And then I'm going to pair him up with Maro Itoje, who I thought looks like he's really getting back to his best now for England. His form's really started to turn around. His tackle count was really good, didn't miss a tackle, and won a crucial turnover as well towards the end of the game. And he also almost won a turnover for the penalty try that Wales got as well. But he had his hands on the ball, but yeah, it went down and penalty try came his way. I think other honourable mentions, I thought Scott Cummings for Scotland was very good. He was all over the rucks, a real powerful figure at the rucks. And Dafford Jenkins as well, I think just quality player. I mean, was he 21? He's just going to grow into an absolute quality player. Just looked so calm and assured in what must have been a very difficult atmosphere to take that sort of young Welsh squad to. So let's go back row. Again, sort of not mixing it up too much here. I'm going to go Ireland again. I thought Ryan Baird was quality against Italy. Obviously, not necessarily the highest quality of opposition, but yeah, he looks really good. He's so athletic around the pitch. He just looks a threat all the time whenever he gets his hands on the ball. Thought Ethan Roots had another good game as well, but I'm going to go Ryan Baird. In terms of number 7, I mean, what a game Tommy Reffell had for Wales. I mean, he was unbelievable. Not only is he always a threat at the breakdown, Jacqueline away, he's just absolutely immense. But he was beating defenders. He was kind of really getting involved in the attack as well and was instrumental in Wales' second try. So hands down, top open side flanker for me this week. I'd say Rory Darge, I thought had a good game as well, but definitely going Tommy Reffell. And then number 8, I think it's got to go to Ben Earl. I mean, Ben Earl, again, had a great game. There was a few other good performances are in the number 8 jersey. I thought Alan Wainwright, his counterpart on the day, had a quality game. He always looks busy, bustling to kind of run into people and make yards. But on the day, Ben Earl had a really, really solid game. And obviously, he got that try when England were down to 13 men off the back of that 5-metre scrum, powered over with a few of the Welsh lads clinging onto him. So, yeah, he's going to get the number 8 vote. And then we're going to move into the backs. But like I say, let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Who do you think were the best players in those positions? Also, feel free to like and subscribe while you're there. Helps get the message out to other rugby fans. I love talking about rugby. I hope you do too. But let's look at the backs now. And I think I'm going to surprise a few people with my choice at scrum half. I thought both Ben White and also Casey for Ireland had good, solid games and, could have been contenders. But I'm actually going to go for Le Garrick of France. Now, whilst he only came on in about the 45th minute, he didn't start the game. I thought he actually made a real difference to the way France played. He really sort of lit them up. There was a little bit of more buzzy movement and he got them flowing a little bit. And I think he was fairly instrumental in getting France back into that game. So I'm going to go with him as a little bit of a surprise call. But yeah, really enjoyed his work. And then at fly half, there's a few choices. And I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know which way to go here. I thought Jack Crowley had another great game, looked really good. And, almost to the point where you're kind of not thinking about Sexton not playing anymore. He's looked that good. But actually, I'm going to edge towards Finn Russell. Although Finn Russell was on the losing side, I thought he had a really nice, solid, calm, responsible game for Scotland. His kicking is just wonderful. He kicked so well in the first week and he kicked so well in the second week. He was really calming things down. And he was also instrumental in kind of getting the ball out of the ruck. I think with his boot, I'm not totally sure, when it came to Scotland's try that wasn't, although I think it was. So I'm going to go Finn Russell. And I also thought he spoke really well after the game. We probably shouldn't measure that as part of the decision for who gets player of the weeks and things like that. But I thought he spoke really well after the game and actually said, yeah, he thought it was a try, but Scotland shouldn't get to that situation. They shouldn't be relying on decisions by TMOs at the end. They should have taken care of business earlier, which I think is probably a fair reflection. So let's move into the midfield. And I think for number 12, again, going Irish, and it's got to be Stuart McCluskey for me. Doesn't get as much game time as I'm sure he'd like. He's probably is the fourth choice centre for Ireland, but he had a great game. He just looks so solid, doesn't he? He's so imposing. He's obviously a big guy, and he looks like he really sort of bosses that midfield about. And he was instrumental in 2 of the Irish tries as well. So I'm going to go for McCluskey there. And then outside centre, Gael Fickou. What a game he had. What a player he is as well. I mean, he looked class on the day. He absolutely bossed the midfield between Scotland and Wales. Sorry, Scotland and France. He looked imperious. Some lovely breaks, some gliding runs, and really, really solid in defence. So I thought he had a real top-notch game there. So going to go for him for outside centre. And then I guess other centres I thought had good games on the day. Nick Tompkins for Wales I thought was really solid. Defensively very strong. I thought he did well. And also Robbie Henshaw for Ireland. Him and McCluskey together were a great partnership on the day. But yeah, just going to edge those two out and stick with Stuart McCluskey and also Gael Fickou. Then we get into the back three. Now, these are obviously the flyers, the exciting people to watch. So I think for left wing, again, got to go Ireland, got to go James Lowe. I mean, he obviously got a try on the day, but his kicking, his left foot, and the amount of times it just carries Ireland up the pitch so far, it's a real release and also a real threatening attacking kick as well. So, yeah, I thought he had another great game. So clocking him up for number 11. Obviously, Billet Berry had a great game for France as well, or certainly a great second half. And that try he scored was wonderful. But yeah, going James Lowe there. In terms of 14 jersey, going to edge to Scotland here. I thought Carl Rowe looked class. I mean, his line breaks, his yardage he made, he just looked to make a real difference and really got them on the front foot from an attacking point of view, which I really enjoyed. The other thought there was Calvin Nash, who I thought had another good solid game for Ireland. Obviously, back-to-back tries across week 1 and week 2, but just going to edge it there to Carl Rowe. And then finally, just wrapping up with fullback. Now, this was another tough choice. I think typically I would go Hugo Keenan. I thought he was brilliant in the air, brilliant on attack. Put shots about. He just flows so nicely in and out of the Irish line. He's just absolute quality class player. But given the circumstances of the day and Harry Patterson coming in for what I think was less than his 10th professional game, kind of late call up because of Carl Stain's wife having a baby. He came into the side and he looked quality. He looked class. He didn't look phased. He had a really, really good game. So whilst I think Hugo Keenan was probably the better player of the two, got to give it to Harry Patterson because he just did so well in those circumstances. So that is my team of the week. Fascinated to see if you agree or disagree. I guess I got a couple of controversial things in there like LeGarrick. But yeah, let me know. And whilst you're there, as I say, please do like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.